morning all. Today we are going to discuss about plasma expanders and thrombolytics. This is Sudhakar Lakawat. Today we are going to discuss about plasma expanders and thrombolytics. So plasma volume expanders are the solution. They are used for temporary maintenance of blood volume in emergency situations. Plasma volume expanders are solution used for temporary maintenance of blood volume in emergency situations. Their colloidal solution have high molecular weight and exert greater osmotic pressure. The important colloidal solution are human albumin, dextran, polyvinyl pyrrolidine, and etastarch and degraded gelatin polymer. So crystalline plasma expanders include normal saline, hypotonic saline, and hypotonic saline 5% and dextrose. So blood. Blood is a fluid connective tissue that circulates continuously around the body, allowing constant communication between tissue distant from each other. Plasma. Plasma is a clear, straw-colored, watery fluid in which several different types of blood cells are suspended. Plasma expanders are agents that have relatively high molecular weight and boost the plasma volume by increasing the osmotic pressure. They are used to treat patients who have suffered hemorrhage and shock. Plasma volume expanders are the intravenous fluid solution that are used to increase or retain the volume of fluid in the circulating blood. Generally, volume expanders are used to replace fluid that are lost due to illness, trauma, or surgery or major accident. These are used to correct hypovolemia due to loss of plasma or blood. So there is a type of plasma volume expanders. There are two type of plasma volume expanders are there. That is, one is crystalloid and second is colloid. So what is crystalloid? Crystalloids are the aqueous solution of mineral salts or other water soluble molecules. For example, normal saline, dextrose and Ringer solution. These are crystalloid plasma volume expanders. And colloidal plasma volume expanders are these are the larger insoluble molecules such as dextran, human albumin, gelatin, and blood. Blood itself is a colloid. Okay. So colloids are better than crystalloids because the larger molecule of colloids are retained more easily in the intravascular space and increase osmotic pressure. So these are better than crystalloids. Colloids are better than crystalloids because they have larger molecule of colloids and are retained more easily in the intravascular space and increase osmotic pressure. So more effective resuscitation of plasma volume occurs by colloids than produced by that of crystalloids. So duration of action is relatively longer than crystalloids. So colloid and crystalloid. Colloid will increase the plasma volume and less and causes less peripheral edema and smaller volume of resuscitation and intravascular half-life is 3 to 6 hours. Then crystalloid. It is a crystalloid is a inexpensive plasma volume expanders. Used for these crystalloids are used for maintenance of fluid and initial resuscitation. And crystalloid restore third space loss. And crystalloids are intravascular half-life is 20 to 30 minutes. Whereas colloidal intravascular half-life is 3 to 6 hours. So ideal properties of plasma volume expanders. It should be iso-oncotic with plasma and distributed to intravascular compartment only. Pharmacologically, it should be inert, and ideal plasma volume expanders should not have any pyrogenic, non-allergic, and it should have non-antigenic property, non-pyrogenic and non-allergic. So non-pyrogenic, non-allergic, and non-antigenic property should have no interference with blood grouping or cross-matching. It should be stable, easily sterilizable, and cheap. So these are the ideal properties of plasma volume expanders. So generally used plasma expanders are human albumin, dextran, degraded gelatin polymer, and hydroxystarch polyvinyl pyrrolidine. These are generally used plasma volume expanders. So what is the mechanism of action of plasma volume expanders? Generally, plasma volume expanders works on the principle of osmosis. Generally, it works on the principle of osmosis. So increase the osmotic pressure, drawing water into plasma from intestinal fluid, and since the lost blood is replaced with suitable fluid, now diluted blood flows more easily, even in small vessels. As a result of chemical changes, so there is more oxygen released to the tissue. This is the mechanism of action of plasma volume expanders. Use of plasma volume expanders. Plasma volume expanders are used in condition where blood or plasma has been lost or has moved to extracellular compartments. Example, in burns, hypovolemic shock, and endotoxin shock, and severe trauma, and extensive tissue damage. Can also be used as a temporary measure in case of whole blood loss till the same can be arranged. So note, they do not have oxygen carrying capacity. Plasma volume expanders that do not have oxygen carrying capacity. Okay, everybody note this, they do not have oxygen carrying capacity. Some volume expanders, that is in that, number one, human albumin. It is obtained from pooled human plasma. It can be used without regard. It can be used without regard to the patient blood group and does not interfere with coagulation. It can be used without regard to the patient's blood group and does not interfere with coagulation. It is free of risk of transmission of hepatitis because the preparation is heat treated. The preparation is heat treated. Okay. Crystallized solution must be infused concurrently for optimum benefit. It has been used in acute hypothermia, acute liver failure, and dialysis. It is comparatively expensive. The available products are Albudac, Albupan 50 and 100 ml injections. Albumet 5% and 20% infusion in 100 ml bottle. So number 2 is dextran. It is highly branched polysaccharide molecule obtained from sugar beet. It is produced by using the bacterial enzyme dextran. Sucrase from the bacterium. It is produced by using the bacterial enzyme dextran sucrase from the bacterium Leuconostoc mesenteroides, which grows in sucrose medium. And most commonly used plasma expanders are available in two forms: Dextran 70 and Dextran 40. So Dextran 70. It is most commonly used preparation. It expands plasma volume for nearly 24 hours. It expands plasma volume for nearly 24 hours. Excreted slowly by glomerular filtration as well as oxidized in body over weeks. And some amount is deposited in reticuloendothelial cells. So Dextran 70 has nearly all the properties of an ideal plasma, except it may interfere with blood grouping and cross-matching. It can interfere with coagulation and platelet function and thus prolong bleeding time. Some polysaccharide reaching antibodies, if present, it may cross-react with dextran and trigger anaphylactic reaction like urticaria, itching, bronchospasm, and fall in BP. So, dextran has nearly all the properties of an ideal plasma. Properties of ideal plasma except these. So dextran 40. It is 10% solution in dextrose or saline. It acts more rapidly than dextrose 70. It reduces blood viscosity. It is excreted through renal tubules and occasionally may produce acute renal failure. The total dose should not exceed 20 ml per kg in 24 hours. The total dose should not exceed 20 ml per kg in 24 hours. Dextran can be stored for 10 years and these are cheap. So are most commonly used plasma expanders. So caution, Dextran does not provide necessary electrolytes and can cause hyponatremia and other electrolyte disturbances. Everybody note, caution, Dextran does not provide necessary electrolyte and can cause hyponatremia or other electrolyte disturbances. Number 3, degraded gelatin polymer. It is synthetic polymer of molecular weight is 30,000. It does not interfere with blood grouping and cross matching and is non-antigen and it expands plasma value for 12 hours. It is more expensive than Dextran and it can also be used for priming of heart, lung and dialysis machine. Okay. And this is available in brands Hemacil, Seracil as 500 ml vaccine. And come to 4, hydroxyethyl starch. It is a complex mixture of ethoxylated amylopectin. It is a complex mixture of ethoxylated amylopectin of various molecular sizes. Average molecular weight is 4.5 lakhs. It maintains blood volume longer. It does not cause acute renal failure or coagulation disturbances. It does not cause acute renal failure or coagulation disturbances. It improves hemodynamic status for 24 hours. It improves hemodynamic status for 24 hours. So, adverse effects: vomiting, mild fever, itching, chills, flu-like syndrome, swelling of salivary gland, urticaria, and bronchospasm. It can be available in the brand Expand 6% injection and 100 ml, 500 ml vaccines. It has also been used to improve harvesting of granulocyte because it accelerates erythrocyte sedimentation. The adverse effects are anaphylactic reaction, mild fever, chill, and periorbital edema, urticaria, and itching. Polyvinyl pyrrolidine. It is a synthetic polymer of average molecular weight is 40,000 and it is used as a 3.5% solution. Polyvinyl pyrrolidine was used as a blood plasma expander for trauma victims after the 1950s. It interferes with blood grouping and cross-matching and is histamine releaser. Polyvinyl pyrrolidine is a histamine releaser. It binds to penicillin and insulin. So polyvinyl pyrrolidine, it is excreted by kidney and small amount by liver into bile. A fraction is stored in reticuloendothelial cells for prolonged periods. It is less commonly used in plasma expanders. Other uses of polyvinyl pyrrolidine. Polyvinyl pyrrolidine is also used in personal care products such as shampoos, toothpaste, hairsprays, and gel. It is used as binder in many pharmaceutical tablets. It is used as binder in many pharmaceutical tablets. Polyvinyl pyrrolidine added to iodine forms. A complex colloidal, a complex called povidone iodine that possesses disinfectant property and also under the trade name of betadine and pyodine. Some crystallites. Normal saline is a isotonic. It is the crystalline fluid containing 0.9% sodium chloride. The pH of isotonic saline is considerably lower than the plasma pH. Normal saline is frequently used in patients who cannot take fluid orally and have developed dehydration or hypovolemia. Lactated ringette solution. It was introduced in 1880 by Sidney Ringer. Sidney Ringer is a British physician. The solution was designed to promote the concentration of frog heart and was contained with a calcium and potassium in a sodium chloride diluents. It is contraindicated as diluent for blood transfusion. So dextrose solution. Generally, 5% dextrose solution are used with povidone 170 per kilocalorie per liter. It is IV sugar solution which provide some energy to the body parts. Osmolarity is lower than serum and these are useful when kidney function is impaired. So contraindication to plasma expanders. They should not be used in allergy, heart failure, severe anemia, thrombocytopenia, pulmonary edema, and renal insufficiency. And some commercially used plasma volume expanders are these. Now come to thrombolytics. Thrombolytics, also called as fibrinolytics. Thrombolytics promote the conversion of plasminogen to plasmin, and plasmid degrades fibrin into degradable product and thus rapidly dissolve the clot. So objectives: to know mechanism of action of thrombolytic therapy, to differentiate between different type of thrombolytic drugs, to describe indications, side effects, and contraindication of thrombolytic drugs, to recognize the mechanism, uses, and side effect of antiplasmids. Definition of thrombolytics. Thrombolytics are the agent used to lyse already formed blood clot in clinical setting where ischemia may be fatal. Thrombolytics agent or drug used to lyse already formed blood clot in clinical settings where ischemia may be fatal. Thrombolytic therapy. The goal of thrombolytic therapy is rapid resuscitation of blood flow in an occluded vessels by accelerating proteolysis of thrombus. Thrombolytic therapy is one part of an overall antithrombotic plan that frequently includes anticoagulants, antiplatelet agents, and mechanical approaches to rapidly restore flow and prevent reocclusion. So, indication of thrombolytics. Thrombolytics are used for the treatment of acute myocardial infarction, acute ischemic stroke, peripheral artery occlusion, deep vein thrombosis, and pulmonary embolism. So, what is the rationale of use of thrombolytic drug in acute myocardial infarction? So, it should be given in acute myocardial infarction for the improvement of ventricular function, a reduction of the incidence of congestive heart failure, and the reduction of mortality following acute myocardial infarction. Thrombolytic drugs need to be given immediately to the patient after diagnosis of myocardial infarction. Delay in administration will be of no value. So, mechanism of action of thrombolytic drugs. They have common mechanism of action by stimulating plasminogen activation via converting plasminogen to plasmin. Plasminogen is a proenzyme, and if this proenzyme is converted to plasmin, plasmin is the active agent, and this will lyse the infallible fibrin clot into soluble derivatives. Okay, they have common mechanism of action by stimulating plasminogen activation via converting plasminogen to plasmin, and this plasmin lyse the insoluble fibrin into soluble derivatives. So plasminogen is converted to plasmin, and plasminogen is converted to plasmin, and plasmin degrade fibrin into fibrin degradable products. Okay, plasminogen is converted to plasmin, and plasmin degrades fibrin into degradable product and thus rapidly dissolve the clot. So, mechanism of action of thrombolytic drug. Plasmin is a non-specific protease capable of breaking down fibrin as well as other circulating protein including fibrinogen, factor V, and factor VIII. Plasmin is a non-specific protease. It capable of breaking down of fibrin as well as other circulating protein that are including fibrinogen, factor V, and factor VIII. So, type of thrombolytic drugs. There are two types of thrombolytic drugs. One is non-fibrin specific and fibrin specific. Non-fibrin specific drugs are urokinase, streptokinase, and anti-replase. You remember USA, urokinase, streptokinase, anistriptase, and fibrin specific drugs. Tissue plasminogen activator, Fibrin specific are tissue plasmin activator. These are retiplase, altiplase, and tenecteplase. You remember RAT, retiplase, altiplase, and tenecteplase. Here non-fibrin specific, you remember USA, and fibrin specific, you remember RAT. Okay, retiplase, altiplase, tenecteplase, and USA, urokinase, streptokinase, anistriptase. Type of thrombolytic drug, non-fibrin specific agents, urokinase, streptokinase, altiplase. These bind equally to circulating and non-circulating plasminogen, and they produce breakdown of clot, local fibrinolysis, and circulating plasminogen and other plasma protein, thus cause an unwanted leading to bleeding. Type of thrombolytic drugs, fibrin-specific agents. These are tissue plasminogen activator. Example, altiplase, retiplase, tenecplase. These are selective in action. So these bind frequently to preferentially to plasminogen at the fibrin surface rather than circulating plasminogen in blood. So risk of bleeding is less than non-specific agents. So risk of bleeding is less than non-specific agent. Activity is enhanced upon binding to fibrin. So streptokinase. It is a bacterial protein produced by B hemolytic streptococci. It acts immediately by forming plasminogen streptokinase complex. It is an activator complex which convert inactive plasminogen into active plasmin. Streptokinase is non-fibrin specific and it can be degradable. It can degrade fibrin clot as well as fibrinogen and other plasma proteins. So mechanism of action of streptokinase. Plasminogen is converted to plasmin and this plasmin is converted to fibrin degradable products. Plasmin is converted to fibrin and this fibrin is converted to soluble degradable product. So streptokinase plus plasminogen, it is an activator complex. It will activate the plasmin. Streptokinase. T half is less than 20 minutes, given as intravenous infusion, 2,50,000 units, then 1 lakh units per hour for 24 to 74 hours. It is the least expensive, used for venous or arterial thrombosis. Streptokinase is used for venous or arterial thrombosis. Side effect of streptokinase. Antigenicity. High titer antibodies develop 1 to 2 weeks after use. Precluding retreatment until the titer declines. Allergic reaction like rashes, fever, hypotension and bleeding due to activation of circulating plasminogen. And this is not fibrin specific. Precaution. It is not used in patients with recent streptococcal infection or previous administration of the drug. These patients may develop fever, allergic reaction and resistance upon treatment with streptokinase due to anti-streptococcal antibodies will develop. So anistripase, it is also called as unisolated plasminogen streptokinase activator complex. Acylated plasminogen combined with streptokinase. Unisolated plasminogen streptokinase activator complex, acetylated plasminogen combined with streptokinase. It is a prodrug. Deacetylated in circulation into the active plasminogen streptokinase complex and its T-half is 70 to 120 minutes. Advantages. It can be given as bolus and IV injection. 30 units over 3 to 5 minutes. Given as a bolus IV injection, that is 30 units over 3 to 5 minutes. Longer duration of action than streptokinase, more thrombolytic activity, greater clot selectivity. It is a greater clot selectivity. And these disadvantages are similar but less than streptokinase alone in antigenicity, allergic reaction, minimal fibrin specificity and systemic lysis, but more expensive than streptokinase. Urokinase, human enzyme synthesized by the kidney, obtained from either urine or culture of human embryonic kidney cells. It is a direct plasminogen activator. It is given by intravenous infusion as 3 lakh unit over 10 minutes, then 3 lakh unit per hour for 12 hours. Eurofens. It has an elimination half-life of 20 to 12 to 20 minutes and used for the lysis of acute massive pulmonary emboli. Advantages are no anaphylaxis, it is not antigenic, and disadvantage are minimal fibrin specificity. Systemic lysis act upon fibrin bound and circulating plasminogen. It is expensive. It is used in now its use is now limited because it is expensive. So tissue plasminogen activator. These all are recombinant tissue plasminogen activator, and these are prepared by recombinant DNA technology. Include drug as Nitiplase, Altiplase, Tenecteplase. So mechanism of action of tissue plasminogen activator. It has direct action. They activate fibrin bound plasminogen rather than free plasminogen in blood. Their action is enhanced by the presence of fibrin. It binds to fibrin in a thrombus and converts the entrapped plasminogen to plasmin, followed by activated local fibrinolysis with limited systemic fibrinolysis. Advantages of tissue plasminogen activators. These are fibrin specific drugs. So clot specific drug. These are limited systemic fibrinolysis and reduced risk of bleeding, not antigenic, can be used in patients with anti-streptococcal antibodies. Altiplase. It is a recombinant form of human tissue plasminogen activator. It has very short half-life, that is less than 5 minutes. It is usually administered as an intravenous bolus followed by an infusion. 60 mg IV bolus plus 40 mg infusion over 2 hours. And uses are, it is used in ST elevation, myocardial infarction, and pulmonary embolism. Nitiplase. It is a variant of recombinant tissue plasminogen activator. It has longer duration than Altiplase. Its duration of action is 15 minutes, and it has enhanced fibrin specificity and given as 2 IV bolus injection for given as 2 IV bolus injection of 10 units each, and uses in ST elevation, myocardial infarction, and pulmonary embolism. Tenecteplase. It is another modified human tissue plasminogen activator. It is prepared by recombinant technology. It has half-life of more than 30 minutes. It has half-life is more than 30 minutes. It can be administered as a single IV bolus. It is more fibrin specific and longer duration than Altiplase. It is only approved for use in acute myocardial infarction. Tenecteplase. It is only approved for use in acute myocardial infarction. And it is more fibrin specific and long duration than Altiplase. So contraindication of thrombolytics. Active internal bleeding, cerebral hemorrhagic stroke, cerebrovascular disease, major surgery within 2 weeks, active peptic ulcer, severe uncontrolled hypertension, recent intracranial trauma or neoplasm. So these are the contraindication to thrombolytics. Fibrinolytic inhibitors, antiplasmin. They inhibit plasminogen activation and thus inhibit the fibrinolysis and promote clot stabilization. fibrinolytic inhibitors, antiplasmins. This antiplasmin inhibit plasminogen activation and thus inhibit fibrinolysis and promote clot stabilization. Fibrinolytic inhibitors, antiplasmins, aminocaproic acid and tranexamic acid. These are antiplasmins. They activate competitive inhibition of plasminogen activation. These are given orally. Aprotein, aminocaproic acid and tranexamic acid. These are antiplasmins. They activate competitive inhibition of plasmin. These are given orally. Aprotein, it inhibits fibrinolysis by blocking the activation of plasmin. So this is a plasmin antagonist. It can be given orally or IV. Thank you. Thank you.